Well, I think the last time I talked about certain things that's been going on in my life, that dealing with, um, exes and relationships and drug addiction and how non-committed people can be in their lives. I'm not gonna go into the whole past judgment or judging someone for whatever reasons, but did I ever picture, leaving the place I was born and raised, that's Chicago, of course, to venture, you might say, through my whole life and go through all the ups and downs, go through all the circumstances and the craziness and the stress, and to wind up in hospitals over commitments, that I wanted to do, not because that, oh, I was stuck and couldn't get out. It was just, I'm a passionate person. I've always been a passionate person, or driven, you might say, by certain things I get involved with, like writing, like YouTube videos, getting into plays and music lyrics, and sometimes doing choirs and sometimes not. But it's like now it's a new chapter. It's a lot of stuff has been going on, but it's one thing I've learned is that you can live with someone, but if you're not willing to work at something or to work on the differences and talk, or because the stakes are so high, it becomes a problem. And my counselor thought I should get back in doing this, and I just really ain't been in the mood because I've been fighting my anxiety for some reason. It just comes over me, overwhelm me. I have no clue where it comes from, but I imagine it probably because of all the crazy shit that I've been dealing with, And it's not like I've not lived with an ex before and not go through shit. But there's one thing I think today's topic is going to be. It's called rage. It's kind of like anger. It could be like a dissociation. It could be what people might call multiple personalities, that people think you're crazy or something seriously wrong with you. It's not the case. It's just called defense. Sometime in your life, or especially my case, being abused as a kid and not having kind of like a protective mother in your life, and in that course, I've lived or been by myself, or in most cases that we can relate, is alone. That we've been alone in our lives, and that at certain times in our life, when you thought the person that gave birth to us, that would protect us and keep us safe, sometimes it doesn't always work that way. So it becomes like I was alone. I was alone in an apartment. My mom decided to leave because of a man, or choose a man over her kids, her full responsibility as a mother, or leaving me in a hospital for 2 weeks just to have me in there because she was so worried that something was wrong, and it was nothing wrong. It was just that the abuse took a toll. And I think people who's ever been abused, sexual abuse, has so much anger, so much misunderstanding, so much animosity, certain things in your life that you just cannot deal with. And sometimes we keep that shit bottled the fuck up, and we don't let it go, and we hold on to it. And sometimes we use it as strength, and sometimes we don't. It all depends on each individual's circumstances and details. I'm not sitting here and say, well, your life is not fucked up than mine or whatever. I'm just saying that my course, being abused, being alone, and being left alone, it can take a toll on a person. And through your whole life, you try to survive and you try to fight through it all. But sometimes when you meet people, like my second ex, that's when I knew something was wrong, when my rage finally came out and this overwhelming of anger tremendously emerged. I don't recommend it. I don't condone it, and I'm totally against any type of abuse, sexually or abusive relationship. I don't condone it. I've been working on it for some time of my own, that I can honestly, truthfully say that it was a devastating blow for me, because for a person who's been not only sexual abused but physically abused in the course of relationships of my own, so I don't recommend it. But so I think this video today is about rage. About if you feel the tendency of have anger and you have uncontrollable, that you can't control it, and sometimes you don't realize that it's happening. Be honest about it. Be open about it, and give support out there, because we're not alone. You know why we say we're not alone? Because you have yourself, so you always are not alone. You might feel alone because that's your emotions, but it's we are not alone. There are people out there like me and you who just need to come together and have that type of support where we can come and go to and talk about certain things. If not, go seek a counselor. There's nothing wrong with that. And trust me, I put it off for so long, or didn't have the help or the assistance at the time to do it. But now that I do, and now that I've had this way of focusing and realizing on my problems and finding solutions on how to solve them, it cannot be solved overnight. But what it can do, and what I realize is that it's an overwhelming of anger that it's built up for so many years, and that eventually when you're pushed to your fucking breaking point and someone pushes you there, there's nothing you can do about it. And sometimes you don't realize what's going on until someone comes to you and tell you these things. And then sometimes you don't even believe them because you don't trust them. But when it becomes apparent that you do have a problem, then that's a real big problem. So I don't condone any type of abuse at all. I'm against it at all, and that's why I've been working on it for some time now. And it just happens to be I've just happened to be out of this relationship that it had to do with a person who had an addiction problem, a serious addiction problem between drugs and sex, and not only putting himself at risk, but also putting me at risk, because him not being honest, it was overwhelming. Like I've had to deal with so much stuff beforehand, and then to deal with him, and then try to get my life on track, and then not focusing fully on me, that kind of hurt too. But then to focus back on me, and then to still deal with it, because it's not like I choose to, it's because I loved someone. I loved him. I cared about him. And it's like when you love someone and you love something, it's kind of hard sometimes to take yourself away from it. You know, it's kind of hard to say, you know what, enough's enough. It's like when you're a fighter and when you're a strong fighter, it's because you had to be. It's because just because someone tells you that what you can't do, you can do. It's one of those things in some of us that we have. But I think this video for today, I think it's about rage. And you know, I don't make as many videos I used to, but I'm gonna start again. It just takes its gradual time. But I think today's video is called Rage. If you don't realize you have it, find out about it before it's too late. Because when you can't handle it and you can't control it, it can consume you and take over your life without you even knowing about it. And also, another thing about rage too is that you think that you don't have the strength to hurt anybody. Well, take it from me. Rage gives you the strength of 10,000 men. And it could be a very dangerous situation, not only for the person that you're either with, around, or yourself. So, please, if you have an anger issue, or you have an uncontrollable amount of emotions and stress inside, find support, find a counselor, talk about it, open up, be honest, and be truthful about it, because it can also save yours, but it also can save your relationship or anybody else who wants to be in your life. Yo, this is BP Vids, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.